Yo guys, welcome back to the Better Podcast. We're on episode 8 and today we have another special guest in the house. We're sticking with the narrative of South African and Bafana Bafana legends, and today we have somebody who's among the top 10 goal scorers in South African football history, a two-time Danish League champion, a two-time Danish Cup winner, the Scandinavian Royal League winner. He played in the Bundesliga, the UEFA Cup, the UEFA Champions League, African Warriors, Orlando Pirates, Arminia Bielefeld, Mamelodi Sundowns, Neuschland, Vasco da Gama, and SuperSport United. By now, you'll probably already know who it is, but it's none other than Sibusiso Zuma. Welcome to the Better Pod, and thanks for coming out today.
Thanks for having me, man.
Look, immediately, I just want to ask you, it's been like 10 years since you've retired from football, and many people, have been asking, you're not the most active on social media and things like that. So many people have been asking why you've not been in the South African coaching scene. Is there any reason for that, or has life just been too busy for you as a football legend?
Not really. I think for all of us, man, I've spoken to a lot of retired players.
Yeah.
One thing we do immediately after retiring, we focus more on the kids, because while you're playing, you don't get to spend time with your family. So the first step is always, we get excited about taking kids to school, picking them back from school, being involved from their school activities and stuff. So I've been busy with that while I'm building my company as well, and the legacy. I have a Sibusiso Zuma Foundation. I have an academy here in Sentin. I'm the Bundesliga ambassador with JJ Okocha.
I see he's in the country.
Yeah. I'm in the Legends Club with FC Copenhagen. So on monthly basis, I'm in Denmark for the Champions League games, fan activities and stuff like that. So I do keep busy, but with my coaching badges, it's something that I'm gonna start soon. But my focus was making sure that everything that I need is in place, especially the academy for me was important, because I think it's important to try and have these young boys somehow just give them the platform, give them that window from the guys in Europe, because I think for the few years the scouting has shifted more to places like Czech Republic, France, so we need to try and bring them back, to Africa, So I guarantee you, we have the talent, but the focus is not on us for now. So we need to change that.
Yeah, just to give an insight, it's called the Reloaded Academy, right?
Reloaded Academy.
And then what is the focus on? Is it under 7s, under 15s? Like, what is the focus?
No, we because I took over the school team at Sundowns, so we started with the under 19s and the other under 13s.
Okay.
But the plan is to have all the age groups.
Okay. My second question was like leading towards something that you already said. When we last spoke, I can't remember exactly where it was. You said you wanted to do your badges, specifically your UEFA badges, either in Denmark or in Germany. Is that still part of a very,
Yeah, that's still part of it. We're gonna have a Zoom meeting with FC Copenhagen, I think Friday. We are trying to make this academy thing work, because we wanna be one of their satellites in Africa. I wanna do the scouting for them as well in Africa. So once the whole thing is done, then we move to coaching.
Okay. So, the badges is just to help you with your scouting, or is it still a coaching thing in your mind?
I just want to have the badges, just in case I at some stage I want to coach. But coaching was was never something that I wanted to do. I rather focus more on developing the young talent, making sure that Bafana Bafana gets, quality players.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously opening up a gap or a path that you didn't have. You had to work for that.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting. I mean, going back to your career, in the start of it, I think you debuted around 18, 19, African Warriors. You spent 5 seasons in the PSL and you scored close to 70, 80 goals. So obviously you were one of the most prolific strikers in the country at the time. How did you achieve that, success? Because there's not many, even to this day, there's not many, teenage strikers coming through and playing regularly and scoring goals, never mind scoring goals for Orlando Pirates at that rate. So my question is how did you do that at that young age?
I always tell my players that I had some sort of an advantage because my father used to own a football club.
Okay.
So I was raised around a lot of football players. They used to live at my house. On daily basis, we'll have 4 guys living with us.
Seniors,
yeah.
Okay.
So I think from the age of 12, I was already attending their team meetings,
training,
the starting lineup, the formation they're gonna play, So I started watching all these things and learning. I was really a student of the game because growing up I used to watch a lot of Italian football and German football.
Okay.
And it's like I always knew that I really want to play overseas, and that was, for me, my journey starting. I really sat down with my father. I told him, I said, listen, you need to help me. I want to play overseas.
So you were picturing that already?
I was, because that's how you do it, man. You have to see it. You have to see yourself competing that side. You have to see yourself playing in the Champions League. And then he just, he pointed me to the right direction. He said, okay, then you need to change the way you train. So I started very young. Every day, I wake up 5 in the morning. I run about 20K. I made sure that I joined the gym very, very early. That's what it takes.
As a teenager?
It's hours you put in.
Okay.
There's no way around that. It's hours you put in. You see that running 20K in the morning, making sure that I'm doing my finishing. I was raised in football as a midfielder. I used to play number 6, central midfielder. Okay. I used to play as a goalkeeper. I used to play as a sweeper. So once you play all those positions, as a striker, you can see the whole pitch and the picture. You understand the pass. Like you remember when Rooney played the season that Rooney played with Van Persie.
Yes.
I remember how he was passing Van Persie.
Yeah, he was playing very deep.
He had a lot of assists, because once you understand those positions, how to pass the ball, how to receive, it's easier for you to see the pass early.
Yeah.
So I had advantages like that, that I was a student of the game and I had a lot of people around me that were just teaching me. That's why from high school to African Wanderers, where I score a lot of goals, a season later, I'm top goal scorer for Orlando Pirates. It's crazy.
Yeah. I heard, I'm not sure if it's true, that you didn't get a lot of support from your father. He didn't, say, oh, you're going to be that UEFA Champions League player. Is that something that, if it's true, that spurred you on to say, I'm going to show you?
No, it's not. It's not true. I've learned a lot from my father because he was a football player. Sometimes when I see that at school we're gonna come against a very good school that I'm worried about, I used to speak to him about the formation that we can use against this school. So I think what I've said in the past, I told I think some newspaper that my father didn't attend my games growing up, but he told me why he was not attending my games. So they didn't put that when they were telling the story. He told me that I'm not going to attend your games because you are not on my level yet.
Okay.
Once you're on my level, then I will come attend your games. And the first game that he watched was the final, the school cup final, where I scored a winning goal.
Yeah.
And then after that game, I was picked by African Wanderers. So just before I turned professional, then he came to watch my games. But it was part of my journey, man. He was buying me boots. He was buying me soccer boots. He was buying me everything I needed. So he was there for me, man, the whole way.
If I'm not mistaken, he passed on before you made your debut for Bafana.
Yes, the game was Saturday. He passed away on Friday. But before he passed away, he told them not to disturb me. They must tell me after the match.
So it was an away match?
No. We were playing here in FNB. So Trot was the coach at the time.
Yeah.
So coach knew on Friday, but they were not allowed to tell me until after the match. So immediately, and that was, it was my first game, because I remember I was playing as a right winger, crossed the ball to Sean. We won 1-0.
Do you remember against who it was?
I think Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Burkina Faso. So I had an assist. I came in as a sub, had an assist. So after the match, I'm excited in the change room. Yeah. And then they called me aside. I said, your father just passed away. And yeah.
No excitement.
And my day just...
That's heavy.
Yeah, that's heavy.
That's hectic.
It's heavy.
Was he
It's
sick?
heavy. It's crazy, because even when my mother passed away, I was about to make my first match in the Bundesliga. But with her, she was sick, so dad was quick. So with my mother, she was sick for some time. And I came back, and while I was in South Africa, that's when she passed away. But my mother was tough, because everything for me didn't make sense, Even my game dropped. Luckily, the guy that was coaching me in Germany, he knew me. He was following me for years before he signed me. So he knew that I was a good player. But I told him, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I can't really play football right now. 2, 3, 4 months, I said, okay, go back home, rest, deal with your stuff, and then once you see that you are mentally 100% mentally, then you can come back. That's what I did, man.
But did it, like the passing of your father and your mother, like affect the career you went on to have? Like,
not with my father, because I knew that he was happy with where I was.
Yeah.
The day I told him that I had my first call-up, because for me,
special.
Starting from the start, everything was about the national team going overseas. Everything was about the national team and going overseas. And my father knew the plan. So as soon as I got into the national team, he knew that the following step was going overseas. So he was really excited.
After that, like, very good spell, you got into the national team. You went to Denmark and you spent 5 years there. And it's crazy to think that 5 years can have such a big impact. Because when we speak about legends, we speak about people that stay there 10, further. So, you still held as one of their greatest ever players before moving to Germany. You have a statue at the stadium for that iconic bicycle kick. The stuff must feel special to you.
Of course. I think the timing was just right, When FC Copenhagen signed me, they were really prepping to start winning the league.
They were struggling.
They were struggling the seasons before, but that they have signed really quality players. They signed a guy from Norway, Harald Bradbach, from Scotland. They have David Nielsen. They had quality that year, and it was lucky that they found me. But they were prepping to start winning the league because they wanted to take it seriously that year. So arriving there and seeing everything, the bosses sitting down with me and said, listen, this is the plan. We want to start winning the championship. We've been together for 10 years. We haven't won the league. So hopefully, even the excitement when I got there, because they started telling everyone to say, okay, now that we have this guy, maybe this is the year where we're going to start winning our first championship. So of course there was pressure on my side, but oh man, I was really ready. I was really ready because that side, it is difficult to win the championship. You know, you have the whole city, you know, on your shoulders. I'm not saying that the whole city was on my shoulders because I had a lot of quality, you know, backing me. But I mean, that pressure that when everything is balanced, you have to find a way. You have to find a way to make sure the team wins. It's stressful, but yeah.
They are like kind of the Manchester United of Denmark.
Yeah. They do. They've been dominating, man, for years. And their fan base is growing, you know, very quickly. They are starting to do well in the Champions League. For the past few years now, we've seen them, you know, winning games against teams like Man U, Bayern Munich, you know. They're getting them, and they're getting them. Their youth Champions League team was the best. Was the best team this past season. So it means they have a lot of talent, proving them.
They've always been very good with youth development, but I mean, just staying on the Danish league, since you're so well versed on it even today, there's a player we have there, Gift Links. He's closing on 150 games now for AGF.
Yeah.
He's 25 years old, but he's overlooked by the national team. So I just want to ask you, the standard of the Danish league, and looking at what he's achieving there now, as a regular, do you think that it's maybe a mistake from the national selectors or the coach?
Well, it's definitely a mistake, because their standard of the game is definitely a level higher than ours. So he's been there for a very long time. You know, while I was there, I learned a lot, and then I took that back and help the national team to qualify for a lot of tournaments. I'm sure he wants to do that as well.
Yeah.
And I've been following him. He works very hard. I've watched some of his games when I'm in Denmark. He brings quality every week. So we need someone who's gonna be there every time, you know. Who's gonna give us maybe 95% every time he's called back for Bafana Bafana. We need guys like him with a lot of experience, the years he's been there. And definitely we need a lot of our PSL players moving. I'm not saying Denmark, but anywhere in Europe, you know. It's important. It's important for our game. If you look at the 96 team, the whole team was playing in Europe, and we were qualifying for everything. AFCON, you know. So yeah.
It brings me to this point because I think it was a couple of weeks ago, the CAF president, somebody you called president during your time at Mamelodi Sundowns, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, said that we need to have more money in African football to be able to keep players. And I'm getting to the point now. You were saying that, the big clubs like your Sundowns, your Al Ahlis, your whatever in Africa can compete with your Scandinavian leagues, Sweden, Denmark, and so forth, with the amount of money that they pay.
Yeah.
Then I spoke to a very highly prominent agent in South Africa, and he was like quite angry about him putting that out in the media, saying it's a stepping stone league as well. You don't go from the PSL to the EPL like that. You don't go to La Liga. You go to Scandinavia and then, on to bigger things. So would you encourage our clubs to be more, realistic about it and say, sell your players for smaller fees and take on the salon fees and things like that? You encourage players to demand those moves to Scandinavia like you did?
Well, I agree with him, with Mr. Patrice, about having money. Yeah, that's good for our boys. But I've been saying this, for years, that we need our boys playing even the small leagues in Europe. Because if you look at what happened to me when I was playing in Denmark, that's another level. When I was playing in Denmark, every time I'm called for Bafana Bafana, I would score a goal or assist, or sometimes not score. Play 2 matches and then maybe I score on the third one. But when I moved from Denmark to Germany, that's another level. And that was the reason, because I've achieved everything in Denmark. So I needed a challenge. And I told you earlier that I used to watch German football. I was really excited about the way they do things, especially the work they put in terms of the training there is crazy. That's why a lot of players, they don't go there, because the training is really crazy.
Fitness regimes and stuff.
So when I started, I think I started around end of Jan. 4 months later, we had a match for Bafana Bafana. I scored 2. And then since then, until I was out of Bafana Bafana, every time I'm called back, I will score a goal. Every time. Because the level is a level higher.
And confidence.
And another thing is, you are playing against quality every weekend. So you have to improve. Every weekend you are improving. So to have half of our boys in the EPL, to have half of our boys in France, Germany, Belgium, makes our national team better. It gives us a good percentage in terms of closing in and winning the AFCON. With that number, with let's say 10 players in France, 5 in Germany, 5 in England.
Like a Senegal squad, for example.
Like a Senegal squad. We are already in the semi-final of the AFCON. So it's up to us how we perform to win it now. We're definitely going to qualify for the next World Cup. That's how it works.
Just to ask you, did you earn more in Europe than you earned, like, let's say, by Sundowns or SuperSport or whatever?
No, not really.
So he's right in a sense.
It was almost the same.
Okay.
Almost the same, but I was not there for earnings.
Yeah, of course.
I was there for an experience and for getting better, so I can bring this back to our national team. That was the whole idea. It was never about
money. Okay. The 2002 World Cup, it did say, you came back and you helped them qualify for tournaments. I think that was one of the most memorable and forgettable tournaments for South African football. It's maybe one of the best squads we've ever had. With 13 of the 23-man squad was playing in Europe and for big teams. Do you think that we underachieved with that squad? Because I think I wrote it down. Okay. Actually, the next AFCON squad is where I wrote down the strikers. But that 2002 World Cup group, do you think you underachieved?
Yeah, because we did. Because that squad was quality.
Yeah.
That squad was quality. And I really thought we were going to beat Spain. I mean, the confidence around the guys. A few days before that match, we were reading newspapers that Spain was really worried. And I mean, we worked so hard, man, just preparing. I believe we're in Japan for like a month or so.
Yeah.
Just our training was crazy, and Jay did a very good job in terms of, making us relax and not think about the World Cup every day. I think that was another thing that made us to have a tournament like that. But by losing that Spain match, everyone was crushed. I remember speaking to Benny, and he had tears. He had tears because we all wanted to win that game.
It was very
and then
close.
It went from having a good match, having everyone chipping in. I mean, our defenders, Lucas, scored a very nice header. I mean, if you're gonna have your defenders, man, chipping in, scoring, you have to defend better. And in the World Cup, there is no room for mistakes, and that's what we did, man.
Yeah.
And we did 2 huge mistakes.
And in 2006, we spoke off air now about you taking Mbazo's captain's armband. 2006, that was probably another low. But Mbazo spoke about it. He said that the late Ted was not his fan and they didn't have a good relationship. But if you look at it, we scored no goals. We came back without a point. Mbazo said it was the coach's fault, perhaps. But I mean, we had Mpela, Cheeseboy, Pele, Ntleko, and Benny as strikers, and we didn't score a single goal.
Yeah.
What went wrong there that tournament?
I mean, in South Africa, man, they love this quick fix.
Yeah.
So that was a very good example of that.
Okay.
We definitely had quality on paper. When you look at our bench, we had guys like Teko, Simpiwe, Shabalala, Tsepo. We get guys like Jimmy Tau and all these guys. But we've never played with these guys. Me and Benny.
Yeah.
We were playing overseas and a couple of other guys. So they just decided, because Ted was the coach, and the worst thing they could do was to remove Mbazo from his... It was crazy because...
he said it was because he wanted to play the FA Cup final.
No, man. From nowhere, they just decided... I think Ted thought if he does big changes,
yes.
it's gonna work for the team. But and then he said, okay, the players must vote for the new captain.
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
The crazy thing is, I didn't even want to be a captain. Everyone voted for me because I was there for a long time. And I knew it was a huge mistake.
Yeah,
you can't be going on a huge tournament like that, changing your captain, and having all these young guys who are playing local football. And I did understand because I watched them when they were playing. Teko was really good at Pirates at the time. Shabalala was quality, Tsepo. These guys were coming through. But there's a way of doing these things, You can put them in the bench for a very good time like they did with us. That's why we lasted long in the national team, because when we came in, we were in the bench for I think, almost a year, if not 2 years.
So just camps,
Just camps after camps. I remember my first call-up when I met guys like Lucas, Mark Fish for the first time. You know, the excitement, just seeing these guys. The whole team is playing in Europe, you know, that excitement. So even for me, I'm not looking at playing now because I understand what we have here, the quality and the fact that these guys have been playing together for a very long time. So you can't disturb this.
You can try.
You can try, but it's not going to work. That's what they did with that team. They thought if we had guys like Ree and Benny, guys who can score goals, we can just mix them with these young guys and then it's gonna work.
And it flopped.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to know, like, what after that Bundesliga stint, why did you come back to Sundowns? It was just one season. You came back to Sundowns, didn't do too well, and then you went back to Denmark with Deutschland. That period of your life, what happened there?
Well, Sundowns, I just got an injury, a very bad one. Did my first operation in Germany. So while I was recovering, and I understood the game is difficult in Germany.
You were out of contract when you had that injury?
Yeah. Okay. No. I was going to be out in a few months.
Yeah.
And then it was going to take a lot from me, you know, training-wise, and I was getting older, you know. It was like, it was sort of a favor, especially from the Rob's side. He spoke to Patrice and said, Sibu is recovering, so can I bring him? And Mutsip was like, I love him. You can bring him, and we'll take him anytime. So I came back. First few weeks, I do my second operation. Now I'm in the worst situation. I haven't played for a year and a half, and I'm back in South Africa. Everyone is excited to see Ree, and I'm getting old. So yeah, I decided to speak to Sundowns and say, listen guys, I'm really struggling fitness wise. There's a guy I know back in Denmark that can work with me, and the World Cup 2010 was coming, and I really wanted to play. So I needed to get back into my
top form.
good fitness level.
Who was the coach? Who was the Sundowns coach at the time? Wasn't Pizzo?
No. It was this French guy. I forgot his name. the short French guy. Yeah.
I'll find out later. But so you asked him to go back to Deutschland.
Actually, I didn't even speak to the coach. I spoke. I spoke to the to the boss and said, "Listen, I need to go and work on my fitness levels, and I know one guy in Denmark that can work with me." I went back, trained in Denmark, started scoring goals. I even went a step further. I went to Austria, solo camp, just working with a few guys that side. And when I was fit, I called the national team coach. I said, listen, I want to play this World Cup. Carlos, yeah. He was like, Zuma, but we haven't seen you in a long time. I was this guy. I've been scoring goals for you forever. And then you're going to cancel me on the biggest World Cup.
So you and Benny.
At home, yeah. And I even said, okay, if you don't bring me back, bring Benny back. And but it didn't happen. That's football for you. That's our football.
So that was obviously a tough one to take. Then
I was really angry. I was really angry, man. I just wanted to retire after that.
But then actually, this is where I think your spark came back, because I'll never forget that it was 2010 World Cup year. I was in high school, and you arrived at Vasco after Deutschland. You scored 11 goals that season. You were happy. You were the groot man. I was actually playing under 15 or under 13 or under 15 at Vasco.
Really?
Yeah, and we used to come watch you guys train there. You had excellent Walaza, Masibusani Zongo,
Yeah.
Moti Pantwa. There was another guy, I think what's his name, Zeka Kaki,
Yeah.
Cole Alexander. He had good players there, and I think that's when you fell in love with football again. Just playing. I mean, Paro Park.
The crazy thing is, I went there to help them with coaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you came back from Denmark.
I came back from
But
Denmark.
how did you end up in Cape Town?
No. Listen to this story. I came back to help them with coaching. You know
who
Rob,
specifically?
you know Rob is from Cape Town.
Yes.
So they spoke to Rob and said, "What is happening with Sibusiso?
It's ambitious.
Do you think he can come here?" Because they thought
You were
I was out of shape and stuff like that. So they speak to Rob and said, "Oh no, I'm gonna speak to him and see if he wants to come to Cape Town and help you with the
Where were you
coaching."
at the time?
I think I was in Europe.
Okay.
I think I was in Denmark. So I flew back. Went to Cape Town. First session,
Yeah.
I decided, okay, I'm gonna bring my boots. I'm gonna train with these guys.
But you saw Paro Park coming from Europe and you're saying Paro Park. Weren't you like,
Oh my god! I was like, okay, this is this is not good.
yeah.
Yeah, but there was something about that space, man. You know,
It's a
Paro
family
Park,
vibe.
the family vibe. You know, the fans, that small fan base they
Yeah.
have there. And then the whole squad, man, the guys, they were just happy, smiles every day, you know, when they come through a training in the morning. So, and then now the coach decides, no, Sibu, I think you have to play.
Yeah.
You are still fit, you are scoring, training, blah, blah, blah. And then they asked me about the team. They said, okay, we're going to have trials for these guys. They showed me the list. What do you think of the players that we have now?
Yeah.
I told them, I said, don't sign anyone. This team is perfect. You have like seriously good players here. I mean, guys like Keenan, Zeka, Cole Alexander. You know, we had really good players.
Johnny.
So, yeah. Johnny, oh my God.
You used to play on the left. There was left and Johnny on the right. I can't remember who was on top. It was some guy from Botswana, I think.
Yeah. Tereng.
No, Jerome.
Jerome. Tereng was in the midfield.
Yes. So that's probably where you fell in love with soccer again, and Super Sport came after that.
That's when, because Kevin, I think we were halfway in the season.
And you were scoring a lot of goals.
I was scoring a lot of goals. Kevin called me and said, listen, we want you for next season. I was like, hey, Kevin, now I only train in a week. I only train maybe 3 days. And then I need the rest. It was like, yeah, we're going to treat you the same. You know, we're going to give you rest. We're going to use you on big games and stuff like that. I was like, okay.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
But he trained you too hard then, because I saw you were injured a lot after that.
No, not really. The problem is with me sometimes, you know. I always want to work hard, you know.
So you pushed yourself.
Gave me a lot of time to rest, you know. But the person that I am, you know, I'm always going to push myself, you know.
Yeah. But in that squad I mentioned, it was Walaza and Zongo.
Yeah.
They were two of the most ridiculously talented players we've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think Kamwenda was also there.
Yeah. Sharks
was there. He used to train barefoot. He was crazy. Why do you think Zongo and Walaza never made it? Because you saw them like in training, you'd see what they can do with the ball.
Well, it's discipline. It's discipline. They had all the talent.
They were roommates, I think.
They had all the talent. I still remember Zongo 1 week from Monday up until Thursday. The boy was on fire at training. I went on Thursday afternoon. I went to the coach and I told him, I said, listen, you have to play. You can't be doing stuff like this and you don't play. He's gonna lose the confidence.
Yeah.
You really have to play him, and I think we're gonna play Newlands. We're gonna play Amazulu. And then he was on the starting lineup. He won us the game. the boy was quality. Now the problem is, what do you do with your spare time when you are not training?
Did you hear the funny stories of him and them dude, what they caught on at the club?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think it was the end of the season and we were asking where did these guys go? And I think the club like gave them an apartment or something to stay together with.
Yeah.
And they went into the apartment and like it looked like it wasn't cleaned in 1 year.
Yeah.
And they found like, like when the dishes are piled up and it's just and like maggots, and it was disgusting. That's how they were living in that season.
But the guys at Vasco, man, they were so nice, man. They tried and hide a lot of things that these boys were doing. And I understand, these guys are young.
Yeah,
these guys are young, bro. And they have money. So it's just...
enjoying life.
You have to weigh, man, what's important. And I mean, a day before I landed in Cape Town, I think they were booked at some B&B.
Them too.
Walaza, Zongo, and few other players.
Yeah.
These young guys with the Harblies and all this stuff. So I arrive the following day. They pick me up at the airport, and they're telling me, "Hey, Zuma, we had a huge problem yesterday. These guys, they banned the whole carpet at the B&B." So you just arrive. This team is giving you an opportunity, to showcase your talent again.
Yeah. And you already knew what challenges you're
the
gonna
season
face.
Haven't started yet. Yeah. You're already banning the carpets at the B&Bs and all this stuff.
Yes, it must have been a colorful season.
Yeah. But what a talent, man. Zongo and Walaza. Quality players.
It's just almost done. Back then at Sundowns, you were there, I think 2008. Were they speaking about today's ambitions back then? Like, when you're in the club, were they saying, we want to dominate South Africa, we want to dominate Africa? Because at the time they weren't doing that, especially in Africa.
Yeah.
And do you think that now that they are at that point, that they will continue to dominate?
No, but it started way back, man. It started way back. You have to pay attention to guys like Screamer when he came with that shoe shine and piano. That's where this started, because you have to find your identity first. So Sundowns wanted to play position football.
Yeah.
And then for years, they just went and then find players who can play that type of... That's where you had guys like Barnes, Papela, you had guys like Fire, just quality players in terms of position. And then now when you have someone like Patrice, and you still keep your
value,
it's gonna take off at some stage.
Yeah.
Now you have money, you can access the elite in the country in terms of this type of the game. We have guys like Themba Zwane. You can
surprise before that.
Surprise Moriri. The list is endless. I mean, you can go just one season, you just go get Mukwena at Supersport. Easy. You get what's his name from Pirates recently?
Thembinkosi
Lodge.
Yeah.
Easy,
Yeah.
So you're definitely gonna dominate, man. You can get quality any time you want, and you have a very good identity in terms of the game. Your game is quality, So it just works, man. It works, and I'm really happy that they were able to find someone like Mr. Patrice, because I know his love for the game.
I don't know how much football you still watch, but who do you think is the best striker in South Africa at the moment?
At the moment,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know when last you watch football. Some of you guys just, you don't watch Pro Bowl after you retire.
At the moment,
Did you watch AFCON?
I'm not sure. I watched AFCON.
Okay,
I watched AFCON.
But your PSL is not so.
My PSL is not
up to scratch.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the strikers? We had Mahopa and Lepasa at the time.
Well, I thought, well, of course, our fans, they just say whatever they want, man. They can be on your neck.
Yeah.
But I think our striking department played very well, because to get performances on the midfield, you need guys who are going to work very hard up front in terms of being the first line of defense. Because if your strikers are not working hard enough, you're not going to see your midfield. They're going to get tired very fast, first half. But the fact that even when this guy, what's his name, Mohopa, when he was playing by himself, but he did a lot of defending in terms of covering the positions where our midfielders, they don't have to run long distance in terms of defending, which is very important.
Yeah.
So the fans, they don't see all those things. They just want you to score goals.
And
the high pressing, and then you still have to protect the ball for us when we win.
And something you did well, like moving into channels.
Yeah.
Like being that outlet on the counter and stuff.
Exactly. So
you impressed with him?
I was really impressed with him. But our midfield is getting there. Our midfield is getting there. We have a quality midfield. I'm still worried about the defense and the striking department. But we need to bring quality, before we lose
this momentum.
All this quality in the midfield.
Yeah. Your good friend Benny, do you think that he can coach Bafana one day? In general, you know him inside and out.
Well, I've said it in the newspapers, whatever platforms. I've said it time and time again that they need to give him a chance.
His contract is expiring.
They need to give him a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, Penny as a player, was quality. As a teammate, he was a very good teammate. And then to prove that he's a very good teammate, look at his spell with the Orlando Pirates. Look at what happened at Pirates.
When they said he was finished.
Look at what happened. He brought that team together and they won a triple.
Yeah.
And I was around that team most of the time. I saw how his teammates get excited every time they see him.
Yeah.
Guys like Lucky Lehwati, the captain, when he sees Ben, he just,
Yeah.
Guys like that, they make good coaches.
What is it that makes them good coaches? Belief?
I think they can always find balance, in terms of going hard on the players and then understanding your players, that you can treat these guys this way, and then there's these guys that you need to be a little bit softer, He really gets that because he can shout at you and be angry because he knows what you can do. He knows what you are capable of doing, and then you laugh about it, after the match. It's nothing personal. I know you can do this.
Yeah.
So every time we play, you have to come through.
And he's got that experience now, like having coached in Manchester now and Amazulu, City.
Listen, you look at even the guys that coached him. Mourinho, you know, we need to give him a chance. And I've said that time and time again.
Maybe he'll bring you into the technical staff as as assistant.
I would love to see him with Quinton. I would love to see him with Quinton, yeah.
Yeah, but two guys that were accused of not loving this country. But anyway, just to end this, I know you have a son, and you spoke so glowingly about like your father's role in your career. You're also now busy with football and things like that. Is there plans for him to play overseas or join Pirates?
Well, as soon as I came out and said I would love for him to play in Denmark, he started focusing more in swimming. And then I was like, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, so he's not even playing anymore.
No, he does from time to time, but he's into swimming these days. He likes swimming, basketball as well. But still, he talks about football. Talks about football a lot, especially when I show him in my videos and the games. Hopefully he's gonna come back. He's still young, man. Okay. He's still young.
How old is he now?
He's 11. No.
I bet we're more likely to see him in Olympic Summer than Bafana Bafana shirt.
Yeah, that can happen. That can happen.
Gary, thank you for spending your time with us.
It was good seeing you, man, after a very long time.
Yeah,
no?
It's very insightful. Yeah. I think, hopefully it's not the last time we get to speak, because there's a lot more I honestly wanted to ask you about. Anytime
for you, man. We can sit down and talk.
Okay, guys, there you have it. He's making a promise that he'll be back. We've just concluded episode 8 of the Better Podcast. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.